All right, so you're back. Means you must be pretty interested in sandpipers. And hey, who wouldn't be, right?
All right.
I mean, they're more than just those, you know, cute little birds you see running around on the beach.
Yeah.
And you've really given us a ton, like a lot to work with here. We got articles, we got research. I mean, we're ready to do a seriously deep dive into the world of sandpipers.
You love it.
So
let's do it.
Let's uncover what makes them so remarkable.
All right, let's get to it.
Okay, so first up, we got to talk about the bar-tailed godwit.
Okay.
This bird, and correct me if I'm wrong, flies 12,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
Nonstop from Alaska to New Zealand.
That's right.
I mean, how is that even possible?
It's really mind-boggling when you think about it.
It is.
It's an incredible feat of endurance.
For such a small bird.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what's really fascinating is how they prepare for these flights.
Yeah, how do they do it?
So before they even take off, they actually shrink their internal organs.
Goodness.
Yeah, to reduce their weight. And then they rely on these huge fat reserves. And they've got incredibly efficient flying techniques. And you know what else?
What?
They can actually sleep while flying.
Sleep flying.
Mhm.
Are you serious?
Yep, it's the thing.
That's amazing. But okay, hold on. So they're shrinking their organs, they're loading up on fat, they're sleeping in the air. But how are they navigating over these crazy distances?
Well, it's like a combination of things. They use the stars, they use the sun, and get this, they can actually sense the Earth's magnetic field.
So they have like an internal compass.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
Wow.
It's a mix of instinct and really amazing physiological adaptations.
That's incredible. It really makes you think differently. When you see, little sandpiper on the beach, like, wow, that little guy just flew like across the world.
They're more than meets the eye, that's for sure.
Definitely.
And keep in mind, the godwit is just one example, okay?
Right.
There are over 90 different species of sandpipers out there.
90?
Yeah, at least.
Wow.
Each one has its own unique story, its own adaptations.
So speaking of adaptations, I've been reading about their beaks, and it's clear they're not just for pecking.
Oh, absolutely not. The beak of a sandpiper is like this perfectly honed tool shaped by evolution for its specific feeding strategy.
So like different beaks for different foods.
Exactly.
Okay, so give me an example.
All right, so you've got the curlew with that long downward curved bill.
Right.
Perfect for probing deep into soft mud to find worms.
Okay.
And then you have the sanderling, much shorter, stouter bill, designed for snatching crustaceans right off the surface.
So it's like each beak is perfectly matched to what it eats.
That's the idea.
That's amazing. I also read that they can actually like feel their prey in the sand.
Yeah, it's incredible, right?
Yeah.
It's called tactile feeding. They've got these special nerve endings in their beaks that allow them to sense vibrations.
So they know exactly where to dig.
Exactly.
They have built-in metal detectors for worms.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, that's incredible. But it's not just the beaks, right?
No.
Their camouflage is pretty amazing, too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, blend right into the sand.
It's remarkable, right? Those mottled patterns on their feathers, browns, grays, whites, they just disappear against the rocks and sand.
Yeah, you can barely see them.
And that's especially important during nesting season.
Right, to protect them from predators.
Exactly.
But how do they find each other? During mating season.
Good question, right. Well, that's where their courtship rituals come in.
Oh.
And some of them are pretty elaborate.
I was reading about that.
Yeah?
What are some of the things they do?
Well, you've got everything. From aerial acrobatics.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's quite a show. To intricate crown movements, displays. And then you have, like, the male ruff, for example. He grows these incredible, colorful feathers around his neck.
Wow. Just to attract the females.
Exactly. It's all about standing out.
So it's like a bird fashion show.
You could say that.
That's amazing.
But, all this mating and nesting often happens in some pretty extreme places.
Right, like the Arctic tundra.
Exactly.
It's freezing up there.
Yeah,
So why would they choose to breed there?
Well, a couple of reasons. First, the food supply.
Mm-hmm.
During the short Arctic summer, it's incredibly abundant.
Okay.
And second, fewer predators.
Right, safety in numbers.
Exactly.
So it's a trade-off.
Ha.
Harsh environment, but lots of food
Mm-hmm.
and less risk.
Exactly. It's all about survival.
Makes sense. But you know what else I find fascinating?
What's that?
The role reversal
Oh.
that happens in some sandpiper species.
Oh, yeah, that's really interesting.
Tell me more about that.
So, In certain species,
Yeah.
like the red phalarope,
Go ahead.
it's the females that are bigger and more brightly colored.
Really?
They actually compete for males.
Wow.
And once they lay their eggs, guess what?
What?
They leave the incubation and chick rearing to the dads.
So the males take care of everything.
Yep. Pretty unusual in the bird world.
It really is. I wonder what led to that, like evolutionarily, you know?
Yeah. Fascinating question.
But it's kind of sad, though, because, I mean, these birds are amazing. They've got all these adaptations. But they're facing some pretty serious threats. Right?
Unfortunately, yes.
What are some of the biggest threats they face?
Well, habitat loss is a major one.
Right, because of coastal development?
Exactly. And climate change is also playing a role.
How so?
Well, rising sea levels are threatening their nesting grounds and increased storm intensity.
Makes sense.
It all adds up, unfortunately.
It's sad because it really does highlight how human actions can impact even the most resilient creatures.
That's a good point.
So, I mean, what can we even do to help?
Well, there are a few things. Supporting organizations that focus on shorebird conservation.
Oh.
That's a big one. Also, advocating for responsible coastal development.
Right.
And on a personal level, we can all try to minimize our impact. Well, by staying away from nesting areas, for example,
Right.
and keeping beaches clean.
Yeah, those seem doable. It's just, it's amazing to me that these little birds, they're more than just cute little birds on the shoreline.
Yeah.
They're like symbols of resilience
Absolutely.
and adaptation.
Yeah.
And they really show how interconnected everything is in nature.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is, next time you're at the beach, take a moment to really appreciate these amazing birds.
Yes.
Think about the journeys they've made, the challenges they've overcome.
I agree.
You'll see them in a whole new light.
You really will.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
See ya!